Hi there, welcome to Between Two VCs, our videocast and guide into the world of venture capital, startup and innovation investing. I'm here with my partner Aleksander Terziyski, and we're going to be discussing 4 different topics today that are of interest to each founder. Although it is very hot outside and we are, some of us are dressed properly for that matter, we are here to be of help to the founders in Bulgaria and abroad with shedding light on these interesting topics.
In our latest LinkedIn post, we ask startup founders how they approach their international expansion. And it's actually a topic which is discussed many times in strategic meetings with our portfolio companies and with founders even before we invest in their company. And the true answer to this is it depends really, and also immediately. Since day one, you should go international, but it's very indefinite answer. So if I have to expand, I like to say that founders, for me, they have to practice what I call situational awareness. They should be aware of their situation. They should be aware of their business model because it has a direct impact on their international strategy. So if you're a B2C startup, you'll probably have less barriers to internationalize. If you're B2B, you have to pick your markets more carefully, your partnerships, your team, international, and so on and so forth. You have to be aware of how much cash and capital do you have in the bank. Are you planning to fundraise next round, next year? Who is your target investor? And all these type of different scenarios you have to play around in your mind. Because you basically, it's hard to expect that A16Z is going to invest in your company if you're expanding only to South Central East Europe. And on the other hand, if your current situation is such that you plan to only go big after only one market, that's okay. But then you have to be aware that it will be nearly impossible to bring reputable international investor and reputable VC in your company. So you should really be aware of the situation. And that's what I think on the topic. And Yordan, how do you think? Is there a right timing to go international? Or?
Well, I wouldn't say that there is always a right timing about going international. I would say the following is that if you ask every venture capital fund, they will tell you that they are investing in companies that are global from day one. This means that they are starting with a vision and building a product or a service and a team and an organization with the long-term vision to expand globally, to become globally relevant product and a company or a service company. This is the ideal situation. Of course, realistically, there are certain things that you should have in mind before you go international. Of course, there is no cookie cutter template like an algorithm, but usually what I recommend to founders and to startup companies is to follow the sequence as follows, which is establish a product market fit, which means validate that there is an actual demand for the product or the service that you're selling. Try to localize the product in your home market. Why localize the product in your home market? Because usually it is easier. There are low-hanging fruits that you can pick. There is a proximity of potential clients and potential partners because being part of the ecosystem, be part of that home market. This means that you have you have a better access to these people, and you can validate early on. Try to kind of establish a certain amount of stability on your base market, and then start planning about going international. And this means that going international might require different things. This might require resources. This might require adjusting your organization. This might require adjusting your product and service. This might require adjusting your business model. This might require, and usually will require, a bulletproof go-to-market strategy. You might have to experiment a bit here and there and experiment and pivot. and you should have done your homework very well, because you do not want to sacrifice the success of your base market operations for the saving of attaining your vision and your internationalization earlier than you are prepared. Of course, venture capital and startup businesses and the disrupting of existing business models and existing industries is about, let's say, it's about accelerated growth, and it's about being quick, it's about being adaptive. But at the end of the day, you should do your homework and be careful when you're executing all these steps.
So to wrap up, in 3 or 4 sentences or 3 or 4 key points: be aware of your situation, first thing. Prove there is market demand, second thing. Plan well, do your homework, plan well. And I also would like to add here, make sure that you have the right people in the organization to expand internationally.
For sure, you need to have the right resources. And they might take the form of funds, of people, of partners, of potential clients, of scalable technology, if you will. So this needs to be taken into consideration. This needs to be adjusted, pivoted, and so that you have a plan. Of course, this plan might kind of transform, it might pivot, but you need to have let's say, to make informed decisions, make them quick, and if they do not pan out, just pivot and adjust as soon as possible.
Yeah, thanks for this.